always a delight to have Coach Wannstedt come in studio. And Dave, good morning to you. How you doing?
I'm doing good, guys. Yeah, doing good. Just
quite a game.
Wow,
quite a weekend.
Quite a weekend. Quite a game. I mean, and the Bears. I mean, they went shoe to shoe with them. I mean, I thought it was, Thomas Hearns Hagler fight. Back in the day, just slugging back and forth. The run games were a major part of both. And I said this last week on our show, and I know a lot of Green Bay people got offended, or people got offended. I made the comment about that I think we cannot let the big play. We can't let Green Bay come up with
what happened.
And that was the difference. We didn't have a play. We had one play over 20 yards until the last drive of the game.
But Dave, why do you think Dennis Allen was as aggressive as he was against Jordan Love after it was obvious Jordan Love was pretty hot?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's either lack of confidence in the guys rushing, or they saw something that they felt
they could exploit.
I mean, one of the two. But when the 1-0 blitz, the other one was that coverage that they run all the time where they drop by or down into the hole. He's got 2 or 3 interceptions off of that.
Yeah.
And
but then the corner's got to replace the void.
You got to be,
and that doesn't happen.
Center, you got to have a free safety. Frisker's got to be in the middle of the field. He could have been a little tighter, I thought, to the receiver. And then Jalen Johnson, the corner's just got to get depth. You play from high to low, meaning as deep up to the shallow in that coverage, and you got to kind of help the safety on the other one. It didn't happen.
They had 8 drives, 4 were touchdowns. Their touchdowns were explosive down the field passes. So I think Ben Johnson used that explanation as to why they wanted to eat some clock and they wanted to score late. They didn't want to give him the ball back. What surprised me doing the post game is how many people felt the Bears had bad clock management at the end of the game. I thought exactly the opposite. They got right down the field. They were in position. They just failed on that 3rd and 1, and that threw them off. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. Wouldn't they have been better off running the 4th down play on 3rd down and then maybe coming back and trying that short yardage stuff on 4th and 1?
Well, yeah, you could have maybe reversed that. I liked the call. I really liked the play call. I mean, this is just my opinion. I think Caleb made up his mind what he was going to do with the ball as soon as he took the snap.
Yeah.
Because when you really look and give Green Bay some credit, Bear fans don't want to hear this, but I mean, they did a nice job of defending that play for the most part. But I like the thought of Ben Johnson saying, I'm going to have 4 options. We're going to have a guy deep, we're going to have an intermediate route in DJ, and we're going to have a shallow route in the back, and then there's the option of Caleb running for a yard.
Those are the kind of plays you like on short yardage situations.
Absolutely, David.
Run pass options.
And you're trusting your quarterback to make the best decision.
Would have been great on 3rd down.
Yeah.
For that reason.
Yeah, and so I mean, he came out. I just think that that he made up his mind because of the week before we ran a very similar play, and he threw the touchdown to Kmet. I think that's what and it was probably there if he makes a great throw.
From a coaching standpoint, obviously the tone coming out of that game is the Bears played the Packers down to the last play. The Bears announced that they are legitimate. They backed up the Eagles' effort with one just as good, not in a winning cause, but can you become complacent after a loss because of the way that you played and gained respectability and credibility and all those things? Because it wasn't a devastating loss.
Right.
But can you become complacent with the Browns team next? Or is that something that he'll have to guard against this week?
I think you can become confident after a loss. It's crazy. I wouldn't use the word complacent as much as I would use the word confident, that, hey, we ran the ball on those guys. We did this to those guys. We can go shoe to shoe with them and beat them. So rather than complacent, I think you can become confident after a loss. The one thing that I wanted to get out here this morning thinking about it walking up is, we got to give the Bears credit, the coaches and the players credit for halftime. I mean, Green Bay goes down there and scores in 38 seconds right before the half. Boom.
That was where the game was lost.
And most teams, past Bears teams, in the last few years, I think they come out. Green Bay gets the ball to start the second half. I mean, my thought process was, we're going to find out now. Is this going to be a game, or is this going to be 34-10? You know what I mean? That it's over. You go in the locker room, everybody's hanging their heads. Woe is me. Green Bay comes out and puts another one on the board, and now you're playing serious catch-up. But the Bears came out and stopped them and went down and drove themselves.
Right.
So I thought whatever's going on at halftime, the Bears and the players are responding pretty darn good.
How about Ben Johnson responding to that question yesterday? Said, I didn't change anything at halftime. I didn't make any adjustments.
Yeah.
And they just played at a higher level in the second half, even though schematically I don't think they changed much.
Yeah, well, I'm sure, maybe they didn't change the plays as much as get their mindset right. You know what I mean? Get them confident
Regroup.
again, and not no more. That's not woe is me. Forget about that play. We got a whole another half.
Yeah, we talk about this stuff all the time about special teams plays and how important it is to kick a field goal and then to attempt one of those dirty kickoffs. I think that's what was going on, and you bring them out to the 40 at the end. That was so.
I don't know.
I don't get that at all, and I don't know how hard it is, as cold as it was on that day, to kick a conventional field goal and then decide, well, wait, you see what this one is? I'm going to crack the ball. What are you doing? Just do the same thing again. Keep them back, whatever. Kick it out of the end zone. You do not need to try to get too cute.
Yeah, the player's not going to do that on his own, I can tell you. So the coaches,
yes.
For some reason, Coach Hightower there in special teams, or Ben, I don't know what their order is as far as communication, but somebody made the decision that we want to try that, But yeah, I agree with you. That was, boy, that hurt. I did. What the hell is going on?
Yeah,
here,
Dave. So you're Dennis Allen, and all week you have been preparing for Jordan Love and the Packer offense with Kyler Gordon at your disposal. You have two nickelbacks, and Gardner Johnson and Kyler Gordon. Kyler Gordon during warm-up somehow injures himself. He's out. How much did you think that affected the game plan?
I don't think as much as we would like to think. I really don't. Gordon's been hurt. He's been in and he's been out. No. Is Gordon a heck of a player? Do we need him in there? Absolutely, yes. But I don't think that had a big influence or impact on the outcome of the game.
This segment with Coach Wannstedt is sponsored by ChicagoRoofingContractors.org, providing all-weather protection for your business. Do they have the best offensive line in the league right now? It seems like the last 3 or 4 games they have dominated up front. Their combination blocks are second to none. It feels like they are running the football really well.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most confident area of the team right now is that offensive line in the running game, and it should be. It should be. Both backs are having success doing it. They're doing a nice job of of averaging number of carries, splitting them between the backs. We were 4.5 yards a carry in the game. And Green Bay knew at the end there that we were going to run it, and they had a tough time stopping it. They really did.
They were gassed by the end.
Yeah, and the other thing too, you watch these other games on TV. The biggest thing is, keep our fingers crossed. We are healthy at the offensive line. And you watch these games last night, and you got 3 starters out in the offensive line. Can you imagine? We went through that in years past. So we are healthy. We got a group that's playing together, a new coach, new philosophy. These guys know that Ben, if he says we're going to run it, we will run it. It's not just lip service. So I think all those things contribute to, if you're an offensive lineman, it's exciting.
How would you evaluate Caleb Williams?
I thought Caleb, there's always a few drops, and I don't know. I thought he played okay. I mean, when you're averaging almost as many yards running as you are passing, I always looked at that. And you guys heard me say it, I always thought that your run-pass combination had to be a minimum of 5.5 yards a carry. And I think I looked at it after a game, and we were like 4-something run and 4-something pass. Big plays. We got to get some chunks. Like I said, the Komet's 26-yard touchdown was the longest, or pass, I'm sorry, was the longest play we had until the last drive of the game.
Right.
Then we had 2 that game. So we got to come up with some chunk plays. To me, that's the thing that's missing. And Brady, and I would say this about Caleb. I mean, as magic man as he is, and get away from the rush. And Brady said it during the broadcast. He kind of alluded to, God, if you sit there one more second, those receivers come open, and that's easy for us to say, easy for Tom Brady to say, sitting in a chair, but what he's saying is truthful. And I remember back in the day, Troy Aikman, on the other hand, he was talking last night. You could sit in there too long. He would get hit in the mouth when he didn't have to.
Right.
He would wait, and the guy just never did get open. So the quarterback has to make a decision. At what point is it time to bail? And do I got to either get sacked, or I got to get away, or the guy's not going to get open? And I think that's just a work in progress. I mean, I believe Caleb will get better at that. But you got to keep this in mind. And everyone's saying, why isn't DJ Moore? Is Caleb ignoring him? He's not. I mean, he's not ignoring him. What happens in my mind? Think about this now. When Caleb gets out of the pocket, which is a lot, and he's on the move to the right or to the left, all of a sudden you go as a quarterback from seeing sideline to sideline
to just
to now you're looking at half the field at the most, maybe a third, and now you're not going to have 5 receivers that are good options. You're probably going to have 1 or 2, and it just always seems like it's Komet and it was Odunze were to that side. Doesn't it though? I mean, how many times is DJ Moore is to the side he's rolling to?
But when you go into a game and Odunze is not there, and you've got a guy in DJ Moore who is your highest paid receiver,
right?
And Ben Johnson talked about this yesterday. Like he was kind of confounded as to why it happened. Said they had a ton of stuff in. He got 1 catch for -4 yards. I told David I thought they were trying to kill the guy.
And we give Ben Johnson
the ball in the line of scrimmage, and the other one. What are you doing?
We credit Ben Johnson.
It is funny.
The first 15 and the scripted, and we compliment him as a play caller. One would think that schematically he could find a way to get his best receiver the football.
Other than a quick screen, I heard Michael, and that's the new wave in the NFL. It has been for 5 years or at least. Michael Irvin was talking the other day, and he says, he said, I played a lot of years, he says, I've never caught the ball behind the line of scrimmage. He says, I'm still trying to learn that part of a game for a wide receiver. He says, I run deep ins and I run deep outs.
The only way they can get the ball to DJ Moore is they hand it off to him, and they run him up the middle of the field.
That's not his strength,
though.
No, that's not fair.
I don't understand why they're using him the way they're using him, honestly.
But when people were saying that, I started laughing to myself and thinking, okay, so Caleb's on the move a lot to the right or to the left, but it always seems like the guy, the 2 receivers that are there, DJ's never one of them. He's always on the other side of the field, away from where Caleb's, escaping.
What do you think about the way the Bears control their own destiny but can't look past the Browns on Sunday?
Yeah, this is a trap game. Because
are there trap games? Are you allowed to lose a trap game in the NFL? I thought that was one of the rules. You can't get caught like that.
You can't, but here's what's happening in this town with the Green Bay Packers and the rivalry and the interest and the excitement and the division. It's not like we're playing the Rams in 2 weeks where nobody would really give it. I mean, we wouldn't worry about the Rams till it's the week of the Rams, right? Well,
because it's Green Bay.
Because it's Green Bay, and the games are so close and there's so much talk about it. If a guy goes into a grocery store right now on his way, stops and gets a coffee on his way to work this morning, you think they're going to ask him about Cleveland? No. They're going to talk about the Green Bay game, and that's, you know what I mean? So that's
get that.
That's why we.
But from an NFL standpoint, like from the coaches, aren't the coaches
No. Ben will be this is Ben. Ben will be all over this. Trust me.
He has to be.
He will. But Ben and the staff are going to be all over it, and the leadership of the players will too. But it's still there. It's still there.
Do you think they could lose this game for that reason?
No, I don't. I mean, I think, rookie quarterback Sanders, and they don't have great receivers on the other side. This would be a good game where we can lock these guys down and come after them. I would expect Dennis Allen, if you want to blitz, this is a week to do it.